What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be?
There are 13 energy centers in and outside of your body, below your feet and above your head. They're called your chakras. Your chakras govern your reality. They make your life happen. They're fueled by your subconscious thoughts, your life force, your action, sexual energy that exists in all of us, creating from the vibration that flows within us. Constant, consistent creation, directed by the choices that we make. You have the right to be who you're supposed to be, so what's it gonna be? You are the master of your vibration. Feed your mind for elevation. There is no time for contemplation. The time is now. So what's it gonna be? Hola, ladies and gentlemen. What is it gonna be? That's been the question that's been asked for the longest time here at the Layer. And I don't know if any of you have gotten the answer yet. But that's okay, because that's what we're here for tonight. It is Friday the 13th of May, 2022. I am SCG13. SCG13. Infinitor. SCG13. And Solution.
Solution 13.
Your eye solution.
And the time is now.
The time is now. Today we're talking about the mind. And your mind being a weapon. We're here on the main stage of Master Vibration 13. We're also live at, I believe, Facebook and YouTube. And so we have other people that are listening in on today's podcast. This information that you're checking out today is private information that exists at mastervibration13.com for the members there of the Layer. And we just give a sneak peek every month to all of the members of the Layer so that you guys could check out what we do every single Friday here in the private study group at Master Vibration 13. So if you are interested in becoming a member of the study group, of the private study group, meeting with us once a week and having one-on-one dialogue with us through the process of your self-healing, you can send a text to 818-233-5776 and just say, I want to join, and that'll give you a 30-day trial in the study group so that you can see if this is going to be a good fit for you. One of the things that we're doing in the study group this season is we're familiarizing ourselves more and more with our energetic system, with our chakra system. And so we're taking it to the point of every session that we do, we're relating it to a specific energy center, a chakra, a vortex. So today, on this session, we're going to be introducing a lot of you to a new chakra. There's more, you heard it in the intro. There's 13 of them that we focus on here, but there's hundreds and thousands of them inside of your body. And so these are the centers that run everything, and knowing how they function and when you are using them is a great, it's a great asset. It's a great thing to have in your healing toolbox. So the one that we're working on today, the one that has to do with this concept of your mind being a weapon and how powerful your mind is your soul star chakra. The soul star chakra, it vibrates to the color gold, and it is located about 6 inches above the crown chakra. It is our connection between the spiritual and physical, heaven, and earth, and bridges the light of the soul into the physical body. And this is really important because what is happening now on this planet has to do with the marriage of the spiritual and the physical. And so our connection to our spiritual source is absolutely pivotal in the evolution that is happening here on the planet right now. It is where the soul or the spirit enters into the third dimension, which is the physical reality of conscious being. It is through the soul star that we connect to the divine wisdom of the universe and open up to the spirit realms and universal love and light. It's our connection to the angelic beings and ascended masters who reside in the higher planes of existence. When our solar star is open and in balance, we receive pure and high vibrational divine love from the universe. We are able to connect strongly with the guidance from the angelic realms, ascended masters, and light beings that are there to support and guide our journey. Deep soul healing occurs when this chakra is open and we experience a sense of inner peace and connectedness with the universe and all that is. This chakra relates to angels and masters, universal light, divine wisdom, soul healing, cosmos, light beings, personal guides, creator, and source. And this is important to know because on this journey, hola Kyla, on this journey, we need to have those connections. We need to have that alignment in order for us to move forward. And here's something that's really important that came to me. Someone in our study group sent me a video about angels, and I checked it out today. It was a very powerful video because when I was listening to it, what I was feeling is just the depiction of certain energies and energy types. And of course, they name them angels, and there's certain categories, and Lucifer was a cherub angel, and angels are able to come into the flesh, and people that you experience that you think are just regular people may be angels. I mean, they have a lot of powers and abilities, and this is the energy of the metaphysical world. And so this energy comes in many ways in many cultures, and so you have different cultures that call the angels, they call them something completely different. You know, they may call them deities, or they may call them, something else. In most cultures, it is known, the truth about the angels is something that's widespread, but every culture will call them something different, and they have distinct, but the distinct characteristics always match in all cultures, so this is just a form of energy. And just in my world, it's easier for me to understand things based on energy because it helps me be able to kind of put everything where it belongs and not take anything personal and just kind of see everything for what it is. And it's easier for me to make sense of it in that way. And for that same reason, that's why people did create labels, because something had to be in place so that people were able to kind of put that particular energy in a form, in this reference so that you could understand what it is. But where we are now in the world, it's important to understand that your feeling about everything is everything. Like, when it comes to angel energy, check out what that is. And that video is going to be up in the video vault in the study group so that you guys could check it out as well. But having that information and having that knowledge is important. One of the things that stood out to me as I was listening to it, and the man was, talking about what areas of the Bible they speak of and what it represents. The only thing that I could think of is, yet and still, this is the representation of what somebody wrote, what somebody said, what somebody, and everything in this world is tainted, so it's like I can take what he's offering and what he's giving, but when it comes to Bible scriptures, and this is what that says, and this is that, it's all interpretation, and I can't bet my soul on that. So I choose to go into the feeling of what is, and taking what resonates with me and going with that. Another reason why your personal and specific interpretation is important, One thing that I tell you guys all the time is your culture is important. It's not about one culture being better than another. It's not about better than or less than. It's about the information that we're able to uncover about ourselves when we know our culture and where we come from and our people's customs and what they did, because we're our ancestors and we keep coming back. And so we leave clues and hints to help us find ourselves. We've always done it. We continue to do it and we'll continue to do it moving forward. So we cannot forget what, the past. Sankofa is not about going to the past and living in the past. It's about getting the gifts from the past and moving forward and using it for your benefit in your evolution, because we're going to keep going and we're going to keep coming back. And this is why it's so important to recognize the power that you have in this state of being in this time right now, because now is the time to leave clues for yourself and for your family and on how to survive in this plane. Some of us are coming back. Some of us are not. Some of us will be out in space somewhere. I don't know, being a star or something like that. But this is how our ancestors have continued to feed us information through the clues that they've left and the people that have had the insight to say, this means something. Let me look it up, or let me see what this means for me. And they keep moving in that inspiration, and they're able to communicate quite fluently with the other realms, with the other energies outside of this space and time. So I teased you guys a little bit with Wusa Wednesday last week. Hola, Zantina. Welcome. And we talked about when we went to go see the movie, Everything and Everywhere All at the Same Time. I believe that's the name of the movie. And then the other movie that we saw was Doctor Strange. And I had revealed to the group on Wednesday that, how sometimes we go into the movies and we will fall asleep for a moment, or for however long we fall asleep. And it's the only time that I use asleep, because I know that, or they revealed, hola Jennifer, they revealed that what's happening in that time is that we need to protect ourselves from the programming that is happening during this whole session. And so sometimes your body will say, I'm going to take a break, and then you come back to it. And so it's not really us. And I tested this out because sometimes I'll have a little margarita slushy when I watch a movie. And so, and that will make me sleepy. So I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that, because something said, go see this Doctor Strange movie that I didn't want to see. Solution didn't want to see it either. And it was out, and I was like, all right, we're going to go see it. And I thought that it was going to be like really easy to just go see it. But when I looked, and this was on a Tuesday, and when I looked at all of the availability, like, it was packed. And it was hour upon hour, in between hours, not just back to back. It was like in between, and movie and in between. And they just kept showing it and showing it. And when I got there, in retrospect, in all clarity today, what it looked like was a programming station. And it was like, okay, this is the programming station of the elites. And this is how they program people to do and act and acclimate to this new age that is being created, to this, now they have a new illusion that they're putting together. So they want to make sure that everybody's ready for it. And see, there has been something that has been happening on the planet where people are awakened to their gifts. So you are seeing more and more movies that are about your superpowers. X-Men last year, between 20 and 21, the amount of superheroes and I Got Power sitcoms and movies and programming that's out on television was like no other. And so all of this is basically so that you can start getting programmed to knowing that, yeah, this is a reality that I can possibly access, so that when you start seeing these powers in you, you remember, oh, yep, I saw that in this movie. And so you start trusting the source that introduced you to your powers, and you continue to follow them. And then you go into the programming stations and you start taking in all of the programming that they're doing through all of the symbolism that they use in these movies. And these two movies were great examples examples of huge symbolism that they were using. And what happens in the elite world, they use truth, they use the power of symbolism, and what happens is they'll distort it in a program. And so they'll give you truth with false information so that you're not able to distinguish what's true, what's real, and what's not. So one of the things that they had mentioned in the movies that they made a point to point out was just the multi-universes. And you're going to find that there are a lot of multi-universe references going on now with being, time travel, being in one space and another time and moving forward and going back to the future and back in time. And so all of those things exist anyway, and they have always existed. And so now what they're doing is they're putting it into, They're putting it in order for you. They're saying, this is how this exists in this condition. This is how this exists like that. You got to be like this and like that to be part of this and that or the other. And so they're causing a lot of confusion on what powers really are and who has them and who, is able to give them to you and blasey skippy and all of that nonsense, because it's a lot of nonsense with a little sparkle of truth. And this is why the main theme of spirituality and the people that are spreading the message of a higher force are saying to go to yourself, to go within, to master your vessel, to get to know yourself, because it is the only way that you're going to be able to live through, to flow through this illusion that's being projected in all ways. See, they've taken the internet and they know that the power of the internet, of course they know that. So they've completely used it and turned this powerful tool of information and knowledge to a powerful tool of distraction and destruction. And so when they're able to, it's really creepy. And I know that everybody recognized it. An exception. Deception and exception too. Because people are making the choice. I'm going to go ahead and stay on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and just keep my head down looking at this. And then we make excuses. We talked about this on Woosah Wednesday about accountability. We say, oh, well, I'm on the phone because I'm connecting more with my family. Oh, this is the only time that I get to connect with my friends. Oh, this is the only time that I get to do this. Oh, this is my job. This is making me money, so I got to be here. So we make all these excuses on how to why stay on there, why we stay on there. And so, of course, they know that, because you guys already know that they know what we're thinking. And they know our energy. They know how we function, what is attractive to us, what we're looking for, what we're in need of, our emotional system, how they know how to activate it and trigger it. So they're using all of this to gain control of our minds and make our minds a weapon against ourselves. And how is that a weapon against ourselves? When we make the choice to stay online instead of hanging out with your children. When we make the choice to stay online instead of eating and taking care of ourselves. We are killing ourselves. We are killing ourselves in many, many ways. Because see, with these triggers and with these things that they're sending out through all of these electronics, they're also sending messages and they're sending suggestions. Go slap that person. They disrespected you. They didn't put respect on your name. So they deserve to get beat the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? They're giving you reasons and excuses to act on your emotion, and they're saying it's okay to do it, and they're telling you when to do it. And the thing is that people are doing it and they don't know that what they're doing is following a program that has been injected in them since they have come upon this earth. All of these vaccinations and all of these different things that they're doing, all of the sudden from 2020 to 2022 and still going on, this has all been to amplify the pressure. This has been so that they can make their situation a lot faster. If you look back at Bill Gates and you look back at some of these powers they're letting you know we need to speed up the process. And there is no time, but they're going against the time of the universe. They're going against this knowing that the last shall be first, and it's happening every single day. And that is what they're afraid of, because they recognize that this powerful mind that could be a weapon against ourselves could be the weapon against them. And they don't want that. They don't want that shit. They ain't ready. They ain't ready. Look, they making CERN machines and they hypnotizing people and they're using everything that they can. The most powerful force that they're using, which is sexual energy, the sexual nature of people, they're using that to go against the people. But so what's so wonderful about this, and one thing that we could relax upon, is that this is not a numbers game in the sense of, oh, there's more of them than there is us. Trust and believe that the people that are not ready to survive this transition, this transformation, it's going to be like they're underwater. That's what it's going to feel like to people. People will be falling out like, they're just done. Their time here is up. They couldn't make it. And it's because of their frequency. If they have a low frequency and they still have enough life force in them, they're going to exist in the physical space that has been created to be a hell. They'll exist there, and those are the people that are in the cubicles with the mask on, using their energy to give life to the metaverse, to make the online situations happen, on sacrificing themselves. That is the world that they are creating. So that is, and again, it's a matter of perception. To some of those people, they might be like, no, I'm in heaven. This is exactly what I want, and this is how I want to live. But to somebody else, it might be like, oh my gosh, that's hell. You live in a box in a world that nobody else can connect to or relate to except for you. And sometimes that is not a bad thing. Everybody plays their role. We've talked about that. And everybody is here to do what they're supposed to do. And if they're failing in their process of evolution, and I use the word failing lightly, is because they were supposed to fail. It was supposed to be that way so that they could learn, so that they can come back and do it different, so that they can come back and be the example for somebody else. So it's like all of these possibilities are happening. And it's just a matter of now, where in it do we exist? Where are we? And it begins, I always say that it begins and ends. It begins and ends with your sexual energy. It begins and ends with your mind. It begins and ends with your heart. Everything plays its role and plays its part. And any time that one of these energy centers are more dominant in your life reality, that becomes a staple in that lifetime, in that dimension, in that multi-universe. And then you have another idea or another thought that came from you that was totally different, that because you thought it, now it exists in its own dimension, in its own world, and its own frequency, and you can match it whenever you in the physical space can gain access to it. You can take yourself there. But those are all things that come with knowing how we are and how we function. It's like when we've talked about time travel before, that exists. And we know that we could do it in the mind, and it can also be done in a physical space. But have many people gotten there? No way, Jose. But there are some people that have. And these are the people that you see in a lightning. You've seen those videos where you've seen people that an electric energy shows up and they disappear. And people say, oh, was that camera trick? Was that Photoshop? Or was that really an angel that came and kind of showed up? They used to show these videos a lot on World Star. Yeah.
A security camera called
Yeah.
Like it's an illuminated presence.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. You have a lot of people that are saying, oh, well, that wasn't real, or that was Photoshop, or that was this, or that was that. The fact that it was created in an image that you were able to visualize what it is makes it real in itself. And so it is giving you, nothing is new, and nothing is, all of this information that's traveling is information that has existed since forever. It's just being put in its place. And there's way too many people that recognize the power, angelic power, and the power of angels for it not to exist. So, and then us being the creators and us being extensions of the Most High, we say it, and so it is. And those of us that believe and agree with the frequency of an angel and what that is and what that means, then we'll be the ones to see them. We'll be the ones to experience them and benefit from their power. Those that don't believe in it, well, they don't believe in it, so it's never going to work for them. They could see angels right in front of them, and it was like, and it's so funny because this just came to my mind right now. So today we're talking about angels. Okay, so Ebony sent me the information about angels. Smokey is an angel diva. Like, she's talking to her angels all the time, and she's really big on angel spirit and the energy of angels. Knowing that I had to talk about this today was confirmed in a lot of different ways. One of the ways that it was confirmed, and I'm saying this one because this is the one that I have a witness to. We were in the car listening to some music, and Brandy's "Angel in Disguise" came to mind when that happened. And Solution and I just started kind of breaking down a little bit the meaning of the song. And so it was just funny to me because I was already in the world of this. All this angel symbolism is coming up, and so they're giving me information, and they're wanting me to connect further to the information of the angelic realm. I've always been connected, but I can't say that I've taken the time to really study it, because I'm one of those beings. It's like, well, if I'm supposed to know it, it's going to come to me and intrigue me or inspire me to go deep, to dive deep into that information. And I have been working with angels for the longest. I work specifically with Archangel Metatron, with Archangel Michael. I'm learning that Archangel Michael was a warrior, and he was actually a warrior for the Jewish army, like all of these different things. And that's the one thing that triggered me into recognizing that the energy of Archangel Michael would be something similar. And I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm going to say it's similar to the energy of Chang'o. And so that same energy for our people of our culture, when we're calling on Chang'o, we're calling on the energy of Archangel Michael. And they have done this in history when the slaves were transferred from Africa to the different islands and stuff, that they hid their spiritual practice under Catholicism. And so they named, every saint has it, and I don't know which one all the saints are, so I don't want to, say the wrong thing, but they all have a certain one that they go with. And so when they're praying to one for the white people, they think they're praying to one, but for them, they know they're really praying to Chang'o. They're praying to their, deities. So, and this has existed since forever, because this is the way that the metaphysical world connects to the physical world. And there are angels that have direction to help and to assist, but to not interfere. And there are also angels that have come, and I know that you guys are familiar. If you are not familiar, please research the Nephilim. Nephilim were said to be the angels, that came to the earth's angels that came to do, to bring balance and to help. But some of them, with the powers that they had, they abused their powers. It's like when somebody that's really good, they get money, right? And then they just abuse it and they lose their minds with the money. That's the same thing that happens with some of the angels.
Get drunk off power.
Yeah, with their power. So they started having sex with the mortals, and they started creating other beings that are like, and we've seen movies about it before. I think, wasn't Superman a mortal with a god? He was with an angel or something like that. I don't know the whole history of Superman, but there's lots of stories. Hercules is half mortal, half god. And so this was the story of the Nephilim that were here procreating with humans, and so they were doing things that they weren't supposed to do, so then they have to reap the consequence of that action that they had. And this is why you have demons and these low vibrational beings that they have to do their time in hell, right, so that they can undo what they've done if they choose to do so. Because as far as what I've learned, they have the ability to think. They have the ability to feel. And so they have the ability to make choices as well in the realm that they have dominion of. So, there's levels to all of this. And so some people, when you say a person, oh, that was an angel, or a little baby comes and is born and then they're taken away. A lot of angels are sent that way too, to bring families together, to help families heal, in different ways. So we always ask the question, oh, that was a little baby. Why did they die? And God is just angry. God is a mean God that's just going to take the life and soul of a little itty bitty baby. Look, we're infinite beings and we're always coming back. So when babies come, even in the state of an abortus fetus, whatever level they develop to, that energy is coming into this space for a reason. And sometimes that reason ain't none of our business. So it's important to let life flow as it does. And this is going to be easier if we stop fighting against the things that we don't like and build on the things that we do like, the things that we do want more of. And so there is a huge awakening, and I'm getting chills when I say that, awakening of birth doulas and death doulas. And this is really important because the whole transformation when people are leaving this earth and when they are coming in are pivotal to the next journey. Is so important. And this is why these motherfuckers, powers that were, have taken, and as soon as our babies come in, they're injecting them, they're slapping them, they're causing trauma because they want to get them comfortable to trauma. They want them to be already triggered from that vaccine. I mean, it starts working against children immediately. And this is why children start developing all of these diseases that little kids have. What is it? The crib death, SID is some bullshit, okay? SID is a reaction from the vaccines that they give them upon coming onto this plane. And some of these beings are not able to sustain all of that poison that they're injected with. So they have names for everything, and they've just called it something different. And so now is the time for us to be able to look at what it is and get the information for ourselves and know what is happening within us, within our communities, so that we can help change for the better. Because this is our opportunity to do it now. It's so interesting that people have been programmed, they're waiting for the savior, they're waiting for money, and I followed that program. I was in that program for a long time. Consciously, I was saying, well, I'm waiting for this money to happen so that I could do big things, pop my collar. I could do big things. Though, I have all of this stuff to offer, but I got to wait because I'm going to do big things, And so I kept waiting for this big thing to happen. But the goodness of my divine force that follows me and is in me, through me, around me all the time, they've already, they've been saying, and they've been assisting me in doing this work. You've been doing the work. Just by showing up and breathing every day, you're doing the work. You've been doing the work. So, it's like it's already been done. I just have to keep following what my inspiration leads me to, what I'm inspired to do. That's what I do. And I trust that I'm doing the right thing. And so the right things continue to happen. And so this is the kind of reprogramming that we have to do on ourselves so that we could exist in comfort in this world as we were meant to. We're supposed to be in comfort. We ain't supposed to be suffering. But the suffering was created for control. They want people scared to suffer. They want people scared of challenges and to be overcome by fear to the point of paralysis. I'm going to go in my notes. It's a lot of powerful stuff happening, you guys. We got the lunar eclipse, the blood moon lunar eclipse that's happening on Sunday, spilling on to Monday. Do not get lost in the fancy talks of blood moon rituals and the earth and all of these things that sound so fantastical and magical. And just kind of on this season, sit back and reflect on what you were doing on and where you were in the last blood moon and what manifested because of that energy in this season. Because you can see it. If you're paying attention, you will know exactly what developed, what evolved, what devolved. Because the energy that's continuing to come in is continuing to be amplified. I know you guys have noticed that time is running like Speedy Gonzalez. And I mean, that's just the way it is right now. And it's going to continue to be that. That's part of the amplification. That's part of the power that's coming on to the planet. So this blood moon is going to be even stronger than the last one. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're grounded, and you want to make sure that you are not taking with you any of the negative energy that has existed until this point. So this is not time for us to be like, oh, but I'm a positive person and I don't have no negative energy, so I'm fine. No, like we all have it. So it's time to take an accountability, reflect on that so that you can transform it. Let me give you some information just about the lunar eclipse and what it is so that you can be able to, in your own mind, figure it out and know the power of what is happening on this weekend. I don't want it to be something that you heard or something that you read somewhere. I want it to be something that you know because you've done the work and you know what all of these elements represent and what their properties are so that you can find out how useful it is in your life. So a lunar eclipse is when the moon, earth, and sun fall into alignment. When the moon passes through the darkest part of the earth's shadow called the umbra. So if you look up, okay, let me finish reading what I wrote. Woman, divine feminine will be more sensitive to this eclipse. This is a grand space for healing wounds that have been hiding in the darkness. We are working with the power of the sun, moon, and the earth all at once. Research the properties of those sources, what they represent, so that you will know the power that you have at your disposal during this blood moon lunar eclipse. It doesn't have to be spooky or anything like that. It just is what it is. These are powerful forces that every year, and I don't think that those eclipses happen every year. I think that they skip and stuff like that. But when they do happen, this is the kind of energy that comes in and that we could take advantage of. And the people that know about it, they do take advantage of that power and they use it to their benefit. And most of those people that we can say, okay, I know who those people are the elite. The elite, they have learned from our ancestors. They too are our ancestors, and they have been doing this work for eons for the wrong side. And so there are some good people in there, and there's some people that are just bad to the bone. But they are using our sciences, our astrology, all of these different things so that they could do what they have been doing. I mean, look at the point that they are now, where they have everybody in the entire planet at their command, watching TikToks and Instagrams and lives, and all of the energy is on apparatuses, on technology. So they're doing a fantastic job of following through with their plan. And so now we just got to follow through with our own plan. This is not going to be over in 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 years. Yes, I went to 100, and even further than that. This is something that we're setting up now for later, but we're going to enjoy it now. We're going to live in it now because this is the time to do that. And in this joy and in this, high vibrational energy that we're existing, we're creating more of that highness and more of that beneficial energy for us to come into. Like, it's funny when people say, I'm leaving this for my children. Mm-hmm. You might want to consider that you're leaving this for yourself, Like when you have these lessons that you carry in your soul, you take those with you lifetime after lifetime. There's some things that just stick in there, and the good things that stick in there are wonderful, and the bad things that stick in there stay in there until you fix it and bring it back to balance. And so now we're in that time after so many lifetimes that we come into hell and get out of hell and come back into hell and get out of hell. We're finally in the cycle of creating heaven. And so now we're in that space where we're seeing who we are so we can create that and continue to create that lifetime after lifetime. So if we consider, because there are a lot of people that don't have, little beings in this lifetime. They only have cats and dogs or flowers or different things that they leave here on the planet. But so they're leaving things for themselves. You're leaving things you're creating here for your future self for another lifetime. Now, if you don't believe in that concept, then you must create another concept that's going to make sense to you, because it has to make sense to you. And the thing about it is that the concepts that have existed in our previous life in the programs world, these are concepts that we were programmed to have them make sense. Like, we was making sense out of shit that just did not make sense at all. But we was like, well, you know, it makes sense. I'll go with that. You know, and one that I will say, and I'm not going to go what I'm for or against on this one, but the world is round or the world is flat. This is a concept that we were taught to believe, and we were taught to believe on a really deep level where some people are dying over their belief on this concept. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would they you know, if you believe that it's all a lie, then fuck, it's all a lie. Right. You know, so you can't, if you're going to go with it, go with it. And so I'm just on the simple fact that I found out just through my personal experience that so much of what they have said have been lies. Then them telling me that the world is round, I'm saying like, okay, sure.
You've been massively miseducated.
Yeah.
I saw something, I don't know if we saw it together, but they were showing the actual sizes of the continents, the countries, you know, on the maps, and how, you know, the United States, the people who are responsible for creating the maps for, you know, that are in the United States, you know, the United States is huge compared to what it actually is realistically, and I think they might do that for all the other different country, you know, the people that reside there. It makes them
to keep them in control.
Yeah, when Africa is like ridiculously huge compared to, you know, like the United States. I mean, the United States isn't even bigger than Greenland or something like that. It's
right.
Quite interesting. I was just like, wow, it's like, why? But I guess it's a reason.
They had their agenda, yeah. You know, this agenda of, you know, a lot of people are talking about Agenda 2030, and they're talking about how the elites want to get rid of over 8 billion people. So this is not an agenda that just started in this lifetime. This is not an agenda that, you know, people are waking up to the knowledge of it. But this is something that has been, you can find proof of its action way in the 1800s. Wow. So that goes to show you how deep it goes. Yeah. So every as time goes on,
that's not decades.
Absolutely.
That's like 200 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been their plan all along. And this is why when you look at doppelgangers, a lot of times these doppelgangers are people that have come through. Okay, go online and look at the doppelgangers. Eddie Murphy has one. Jay-Z has one. There's Michael Jackson has one. Queen Latifah has one. There's a lot of doppelgangers, and they bring them back. They keep coming back already with the program that this is what you're going to do in this life to lead people into destruction. And it's not something, it's just something that lifetime after lifetime, family after family, that's what they've done. And, you know, and I mean, this deception comes in all colors and all forms. It's not just black people. You know, it's like there's doppelgangers for every culture, I mean, this is beyond humanity. This is way beyond that. So this is something that is just part of the yin and the yang of the earth and the planet and what happens. And so in this time now, everything is shifting to a season where it's going to be a long season of us getting good and getting better and doing better and being in more balance, you know? So, hold on just one second. Okay. Our daughter's calling us, so we're trying to get back to her. So, okay, so let me go back to the notes here. Coming out of darkness shines a bright light to the possibilities of what can be. Each year, the force in these alignments grows stronger. The results of what we are doing during these times become clearer. And this is what I was telling you about, being able to look at your journals from last year and look at the things that you did in your rituals and in your time. You gonna go get her? Okay. Solution had to step out. He's going to go pick up our daughter. So, I don't know if we're going to be done by the time he gets back. But, okay, so this is a good time to be able to really reflect on that. And what that does is it's going to give you more confidence in the power and your rituals and the things that you've been doing. And so what you want to do on this weekend is you really want to make it work for you. You want to take the things that you've learned from what happened last year, and you want to implement new ways and stronger ways and new things so that you can get a better result coming up for next season. And so when we do these things without any unrealistic expectations, when we do it without any command of, oh my gosh, this better happen right now, if not I'm going to be mad or whatever, when we start doing it just as a way of life and a way that we function in our own lives and the way that we manifest and create our lifestyles, then it becomes simpler and it becomes something that's just automatic. You know what I'm saying? It just happens. And so we become used to this natural way of being magical people, and it just continues to flow within our experience. And that's what we want. We want to get into that space where our gifts are working for us continuously without us having to sell our souls. And this is very important. Okay. All right. A lot of people think that selling their souls is like either literal or it's going to look like, a bad person. But whenever you compromise yourself, whenever you say yes when you should have said no, you're selling your soul. You're selling a piece of yourself because you're going against yourself to try to either make somebody happy, to try to get more money, to try to, whatever it is. And those times are over because we're now in the space where we're recognizing that we are infinionaires. That means we are the money. And so when we start going against ourselves, we start to feel that in a major way. And the only thing that can heal us going against ourselves is us choosing ourselves. So once we get that formula down, our life experience starts to look a little bit different. They know that the internet is a powerful tool for knowledge, so they have turned it into a distraction. They know what colors, words, music, visuals to use to get the attention of all people. The subtitles, the subtleties are the most powerful way to penetrate subconscious thought. And so this is why the knowledge of our chakra system, the knowledge of what each vortex does is important for us to be able to figure things out and keep our systems protected, because they're first going to be protected by our thoughts, by our minds, by our words. And so once we have that, then the outside tools, the orgone energy batteries, the scalar technology, all of these other things come into play after. But you got to get it together first in your mind. You got to start with your meditation. You got to start giving yourself that attention. Take away the attention that you're giving to others, bring it back to yourself so that you can start getting all the gems and the jewels and the gifts. Theaters are programming stations by the elites. This is why you see the same people participating in all of the entertainment available. Their time is up. So I know that you all know it's like, why is it that we see the same people in the same kind of movies all the time? They even go and start doing different movies, but it's the same people that are in those same circles delivering the same movies over and over again. Is because they are part of the elite system, and once they're trained in doing what they got to do, they already know what they got to do, so they use them in everything. And so that's what they do. And the message is always the same. And so it makes it a lot easier. Not only that, but it keeps the money flowing in the direction in which they want it to flow. Have you ever noticed that a song, okay, and I might have mentioned this before and I'll mention it again because it's one of those basic examples that people could really wrap their minds around. You know that song, I need you, baby, and if it's quite all right, I need you, baby. Lauryn Hill did it for the African American culture. Before she did it, somebody else did it. I can't tell you the name of the person that did it, but I know that it was an Anglo person. And before them, the person that created it and wrote it was an Anglo person, possibly a black person, because they are masters at stealing our intellectual property and making money off of it. So I'm not going to say exactly who did it, but I'm just letting you know of how they keep their money flowing to their pockets, to their family, to their same people over and over again, and they keep it alive. Well, the transformation is happening now with people of color. The last shall be first. So you've heard sampling. You've heard songs that are using, I don't know, Rick James, for example. Rick James songs that they'll use his music or part of his song in a sample. So if Rick James, and I'm using Rick James, but it's still probably not the best example because I don't know if Rick James had ownership of his masters and of his music like that. So I don't know. That same thing with Prince. Prince didn't have ownership of it. So the masters, the powers that were, they still have ownership of that stuff. So they'll continue to make money for it. But the people that have their masters and samples are being used from their music, now they're going to be able to collect lifetimes upon lifetime on those same publishing rights, on that same music, on that same property. People are going to be able to pass it down to their offsprings, to their families, to their bloodlines through contracts and through trust. That more people of color are becoming aware of natural law and how you can use it in universal law in the physical sense and do it in a righteous way where it cannot be taken with color of law. And the people that have used the systems and created their own systems of legalese so that they could fool us and manipulate and trick people. So all of that is being transformed, and slowly but surely, but it is happening. And so people are going to Jennifer says that the original song Lauryn Hill covered was originally released by Frankie Valli. And I believe Frankie Valli was Anglo, and it'll be important to know who originally wrote it. But these people keep getting money over and over again by making other people sing the same music and sing the same songs. The same thing happens with Disney. Okay, so Disney, I don't have to tell y'all about the demonic entities of Disney. And so they keep their stories going, and they have now black people of color that are performing the Disney rituals and telling the Disney stories and creating more of this culture and keeping it alive. And so this is how they keep their wealth, and they keep it, they're going to show you some black faces. Yeah, they're going to do that. They're going to make you think, oh yeah, now Disney has accepted black people. No, Disney is using black people to get into the minds of the young black people. Right? And so now they're thinking, oh, we've made it because look at us. Look at our faces on TV. Look at our faces in movies and this, that, or the other. That's trickery. That's mind programming to make you believe that something is being done in the eyes of the people of color, that, victory has finally come. Right? Free at last, free at last. That's some bullshit that they're doing. And they continue to do that. And it's mind programming that they're using to keep people enslaved. And it's worked for hundreds of years. So why are they going to change it now? They're only going to amplify it more and continue to use their power to try to take us out, because they know that organically we are getting downloads. We are getting taken to other levels of existing. We are becoming stronger in our ability to take on some of the energy that has been put here on this planet. Because let us not forget that this orgone technology that we're all doing, and I know a lot of you in this space are doing it now. So every time that you create an orgone device, scalar technology, everyone in your neighborhood is benefiting from that. Everyone that sees a picture of it, everyone that sees it in person, they're all getting the benefits of what this energy is, because that's what scalar technology is and what it does. It is technology that moves faster than the speed of light, so a person does not have to be there in the physical to benefit from its energy. And so the more you know about this technology, the more you're going to be moved to be around it. and to be in places that have it and that use it, because this is our saving grace from the technology age that we're in right now. Let me go back to my notes. I think we're doing good with time. I got 5 more minutes to finish what I got to say in these notes. Okay. Everything is shifting. The last shall be first. People are getting what is owed through samples. Oh, okay. Yeah, through samples. White folks have been doing this for eons, copying their music, stealing ours, and passing it on to their generations and getting rich and off of, our intellectual property. So it looks like I managed to get into all of the notes, so I'm very happy about that. Oh, wait a minute. No, I didn't. Okay. Conspiracy is an experience. It is all around in many things. Now, how much of your mind do we lend to it, and what we do as a result of the time spent? Okay, and so I want to say this. You have people that they won't watch TV, or they're not doing this, they're not going to the movies, they're not doing any of that stuff because they're against conspiracy, and they're saying if you watch that or if you do that, you're giving to it. There's also training going on. There's also messages, and with the messages that you get from the low vibrational frequencies, there are messages in there from high vibrational frequencies as well. It is up to each individual to discern it and do what they're moved to do. We don't have no time to judge people for doing what they're choosing to do in their physical space here on this earth. So we have to use the tools that are provided for us so that we can continue with our evolution. We have to remember that the people that are doing the programming are brilliant. They're geniuses at what they do and at programming people. So there's much to learn from them. Just because you are in that space, it doesn't mean that you are of that space. And if you are a true master, you know how to navigate in all spaces. That is the I am. And when you are connected to that, there's nothing that you can't do. So don't judge people over the company that they keep, because it's not always what it looks like. And it's important for us to know that. Wusa Wednesday helped me expand on my perspective about everything. It helped me stay focused on what matters most in every situation. And I keep hearing everything has to be in order. This is something that Lucas is always saying. And as you guys know or may not know, Lucas has autism. And we don't really claim that either. It's just a label so that people are aware of the condition that he has come from. But he's always saying that everything has to be in order. And it just reminds me of how powerful and how important that is. And those of you that got the opportunity to check out the first Wusa Wednesday of 2022 inside the study group, it was something that happened, impromptu, and we did it. And it was a very powerful thing. And it was something that was necessary for my own progress. And those of you that got benefit from it, I'm glad for that as well. People are experiencing mental fog, confusion, forgetfulness, the residual of what was done from 2020 through 2022 and on. Vax, jabs, chemtrail, 5G technology, shedding. It is making people feel like they're losing their minds. The world is looking for solutions, and they are going to give you the solutions. This is the powers that were. They're trying to give you the solutions through and explanations for what is happening in the world via their movies, influence, and entertainment. That is what they're doing. That is their number one plan, and it's working nicely. So with that knowledge, with that knowing of what they're doing, is up to us to do the opposite and do what we have to do to not fall into the distractions. And I know for me, one of the things that I did was take Instagram and social media off of my phone. Yes, it is for work. And yes, I participate in those things for work. But there are times where I'm on there trying to help more than I need to. And so I don't. And I'm not doing that anymore. And so now the only place that people could find me and find me in live time where you can, maybe have a chat with me is in the chat space at Master Vibration 13. If you want to speak with me, you'll be able to do that if you're in the private study group. group. So these are things that I had to do in my life so that I could make room for more abundance, more wealth, more wonderful things that are happening in my life, and not have to compromise myself and still be able to give to the people that I want to give to in my community. And so I'm not going to be, yes, I'm using Instagram and these social platforms as a way to put my brand and put my presence there as a bridge, but I'm not going to give them my energy more than I have to. Yes, it is going on a schedule now that social media as a whole gets 1 hour of my day. And so if I can't fit in the things that I have to do within that 1 hour, then it goes to the next day. I'm not going to, when the universe, when the Most High starts speaking to you directly, telling you move this way, you can't argue with that. You can't say, all right, I'm going to move that way because, you can't do it. And you know when it's time for you to do it. So this is not a thing where I'm saying everybody need to get off of social media. Everybody got to do this. Look, can't nobody tell me what to do. I tell me what to do. And I trust myself in doing that. So with that, move when it's your time to move. When you feel it in you to make that step, that's when you do it. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. And it doesn't matter if you got off of Facebook 100 times and you said that you're leaving and you came back. You know what I'm saying? It is a serious program that is deeper than we give it credit for. They know what brings us to the internet. They know what we need, what we want, what we're looking for, and they know how to give it to us. They know how to send signals to us when we're offline to get online. So all of these things are happening all the time. So if you guys want more, those of you that are listening for the first time ever, if you want to continue with this kind of study, we do it every single week inside of the Master Vibe study group. Everyone can't come, but if you would like to come, you can send a text to 818-233-5776 and say, I would like to join, and you will get a 30-day trial of the study group to see if this is something that fits for you. We will have a conversation first before you even get the trial, because again, this is not for everyone, and it is not about the $25 subscription, because that is the subscription price for this service. We are the money. I am the money. So it is not about that, but it is important for people to recognize that everything is an exchange. And when you make a commitment to offer that $25 every month, you are making a commitment to yourself to make sure that you're present every single week getting this food that is very necessary. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. Kyla, that was not an accident. It is the number 9. I change to the number 9. It is so divine. It represents so many good things. Use that in your rituals this weekend on this super blood moon. Again, thank you all so much for joining in. Our daughter is in the studio today taking place for her father that just came to pick her up. Is there anything that you want to say to the people that are celebrating this fantastic weekend of Friday the 13th and blood moons and lunar eclipses?
Cleanse your crystals, set your intentions, use your magical manifestation powers for good, and everything is as it should be and always will be.
There it is.
And I said what I said.
She said what she said. Don't forget to remember your ancestors in your ritual, because they are us. We are here for them. We are here because of them. So, Ache, and Solution sends his love, and he would say something really fancy or something really rhymey right now.
Profound.
Yeah. Something kind of profound a little bit. So think of that. Thank you all so much. I love you. Adios, adios, adios. Ache, ache, ache.
13.
When I feel the sound of music vibrating in me, I take hold of the energy and ride the frequency. My soul makes the melody of my life, so I must vivacious. I am zip, pepper, sass, punch, bounce, moxie, mojo, whatever you call it. I am. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, Ajay, 13, Ajay, 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 13, Ajay. Ajay, Ajay. Ajay, 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 13, Ajay, 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 13, Ajay. Ajay, Ajay. Ajay, 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 13, Ajay, 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 13.